Hello everyone, I am Renowned Zero. Today we're going to be talking about Kevin Feige revealing that he will cut back on Disney Plus shows for Marvel after he sees that no Marvel series has cracked the top 15 streaming shows of 2022. Yeah, there's a reason for that, because they're all terrible. If you had a coherent story and you weren't simply focusing on the race of characters or the genders of characters or the sexualities of characters, you probably have good shows, but you seem to want to put these things before the story, and this is why your shows are flopping. So we're going to jump right into this article from Bounding Into Comics. Kevin Feige reveals Marvel will cut back on Disney Plus shows after no Marvel series cracked the top 10 streaming shows of 2022. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige announced the company would be cutting back on Disney Plus shows following a disastrous 2022 that saw none of their shows crack the top 15 streaming shows. Nielsen revealed their top 15 streaming programs of 2022 back in January, and only 3 Disney Plus shows programs cracked the list: Encanto, Bluey, and The Simpsons. Of course, The Simpsons will, because Simpsons is still very popular. You know, a lot of people say they're not really good anymore. But I'm guessing that people are watching the older episodes, and that's why it is on the list. When looking at Nielsen's top 15 original streaming programs, nothing from Disney Plus made the list, and that includes Marvel Studios productions that released in 2022, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, I Am Groot, and She-Hulk, because all of those shows were garbage. In a wide-ranging interview with Entertainment Weekly, Feige revealed the company would be cutting back on their Disney Plus programming. Feige said, quote, "We want Marvel Studios and the MCU projects to really stand out and stand above. So people will see that as we get further into Phase 5 and 6, probably not. The pace at which we're putting out the Disney Plus shows will change so they can get a chance to shine. They'll get a chance to shine if you make them actually good and not garbage." When asked if he would be spacing them out or putting out fewer shows per year, he responded, "Both, I think." Later in the interview, he would reveal, quote, "I think when we are doing about 8 projects a year, and again, I said this is going to shift a little bit, they all have to be different. They all have to stand apart and stand alone and be different from one another." On top of this, Feige indicates that their television shows will be more episodic rather than serialized going forward. He relayed, "We want to do shows that can only be shows. I want to continue to make them even more episodic," which may seem counterintuitive. But I do think there is something fun about leaning back and watching an episode that can be relatively self-contained. Lost was an incredibly influential show, which ended like shit, by the way. The ending was absolute garbage, because it was a serialized story which was not seen in television much. Now it's been how long? 20 years? Since then, almost everything has become like that. Not really. Game of Thrones didn't become like that. And quite a few other shows. Breaking Bad hasn't become like that. A lot of things that have come out since Lost have been better than Lost. Lost had this huge build-up to the ending, and the ending was garbage. So now, and I think you're seeing this not just with our shows, but with many other shows, you're starting to see the fun of a self-contained episodic story week to week. We're going to experiment with that in some of our upcoming things. Feige went on to say, "Yes, I mean, cliffhangers are great, and I like watching a show where you should go to bed, but you see the cliffhanger and you just have to watch the next episode. You certainly want to keep people engaged. But I'm a big Star Trek fan, I doubt it. And I still find it soothing to watch an episode of Next Gen with a beginning and an end. So I think we're going to keep experimenting with that going forward." Basically saying that the episode has a beginning and end, rather than having an episode with an ending that you have to wait till the next episode to see what happens next, type of deal. He would go on to reveal that much of this episodic storytelling will be done in the upcoming Daredevil Born Again, which is going to be garbage, because they're going to completely change and make you forget all the lore from the previous Netflix Daredevil show. When asked about the series specifically, Feige said, "It's Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and they're amazing actors and storytellers in their own right. That's sort of what I was talking about with the fun of episodic television. That's really where we're experimenting with that, with Daredevil in particular. You might want to experiment where you continue from the previous story and not completely throw all that away." Feige's comments about cutting back at Marvel also come after the Walt Disney Company Marvel Studios parent company announced that they would be taking significant cost-cutting measures to the tune of $3 billion in non-sports related content, and even laying off around 7,000 employees. Disney CFO Christine McCarthy detailed these cuts would primarily come from the company's marketing. She noted it would be 50% marketing, 30% labor, and 20% technology. It's quite possible Feige is trying to put on a pretty face as Iger Disney leadership acts the amount of streaming content they are creating, especially when it can't even break into the top 15 of the most streamed programs. So essentially, y'all got beat out by House of the Dragon. It seems if we go back up to the list here, they got beat out by Stranger Things, which is extremely popular. NCIS is amazing. I know Ozark is pretty popular. Grey's Anatomy is still popular, even though it's been around forever. Criminal Minds, yes. A lot of these here, even Cobra Kai is still in here, which is great because Cobra Kai is fantastic. It's a show, basically a sequel series to the Karate Kid movies, which you don't even have to watch them. It's great for extra context, but the show does enough to where it gives you enough information for you to be able to follow along. But it seems like overall, like, most of this stuff seems to be from Netflix. Stranger Things, yeah, Netflix, everything is like Netflix. Except for The Boys and Rings of Power, which Rings of Power was trash. So, that doesn't say much. It's in there, but it was bad. People watched Rings of Power for curiosity's sake. It would just be better to watch the original trilogy of Lord of the Rings movies, the extended versions, of course, rather than succumbing to this piece of garbage called the Rings of Power. But essentially, yes, this is what you should be doing, Kevin Feige, because your Marvel shows are clearly garbage. You put the agenda and everything else before the actual story, before making an actual story, and you reap what you sow. People are waking up to the BS, your trash shows, and this is why you should take a break from making these shows, because there's no creativity left in Marvel, even as far as the comic books. They're pretty shit. The shows are pretty shit. And now the Marvel movies are also going to continue to be pretty shit. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all new subscribers and returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like the content, make sure to hit the like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. And set it to all that we get notifications anytime I post a new video. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.